From Baton Rouge, LSU will look to keep its undefeated season alive, but the Florida Gators could really use a big SEC win after losing to USF last week. We're previewing SEC Week 3 from Death Valley on Locked On SEC.
You are Locked On SEC, your daily podcast on the Southeastern Conference. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into Locked On SEC. I'm Chris Gordy. Thanks for making Locked On SEC your first listen every day. Shout out to everydayers. We're free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, covering your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by Mazda. Like our players, we sweat every detail because when you make every move count, pulling off the unexpected is only the beginning. Stay tuned later for highlights in this week's Moving the Game Forward Mazda. Move and be moved. I am Chris Gordy, host of Locked On SEC. Joining us, former LSU linebacker Cameron Vaughn, a 3-year starter at LSU, played in 52 games in his career, 239 tackles, 7 sacks, started at will linebacker on the 03 National Championship team, was on the Butkus Award watch list in 05, played for Nick Saban, played for Les Miles, attended a high school named Shaw. We won't even get into that. I'm a Rummel Raider, so we beat them a ton. Went 3-1 in his career against Florida. Cam, welcome in, man. How are you?
Hey, great to be here. That was a fantastic intro. I did score a touchdown in versus Alabama, so you forgot to put that.
Oh, there we go.
Let's make sure that gets added.
That's a good one. Well, you probably had a good record against Alabama, too,
3-1 against Alabama.
Yeah. It was a different time.
I think while I was here for 4 years, I think anybody we played more than once, we either had an even record or a better record than, against.
There you go. Yeah, that's what the fun part was. Looking back at your career, I was like, win. It's like you guys lost 1-2 games a year, basically.
Yeah, it was solid. It was definitely it's kind of, I feel like it was like the foundation of where LSU is now, right? Was early Saban years where everything was getting built. It was a transition from previous coaches, and it was really that work hard, win mentality, and we had to work through some old school Jefferson Pilot games at 10:45 kickoffs.
Hotter than this at some of those games, right?
We had some of those games. We had a lot of daytime games and stuff like that. But we got it. I feel like it was our era of teams was kind of the generation or the foundation for where we are now. How
did you earn that starting job for being such a young guy to start at linebacker on a national championship team? I mean,
I'm just honestly. The coaches, Nick Saban, all those guys, Will Muschamp, all those guys are win first. So whoever's going to win, help the team win, is the team that's going in. And he told me that when we were recruiting. Saban came to my house and he sat down and he was like, I'm not guaranteeing you a starting spot, but you have the opportunity to. If you're good enough, the best guy's going to go out there. And that was the case. I was fortunate. I played in all the games since from day one when I was here. Started, I think, the last game, my Arkansas game of my freshman season, and then starting, I think, week 2 of my sophomore year. Through graduation, so.
Okay, you had so many great moments. Can I tell you the one negative moment I remember?
Uh-oh. I think I already know. Go for it.
It was LSU Tennessee on Monday Night Football. It was y'all are up 21-0 at half. It's Les Miles' first game here in Death Valley, and was it a Clausen? Who was it? Rick Clausen came in the second half, and Tennessee rolled, go to overtime, and Gerald Riggs. Bam! Right there, and meet you in where the road meets right there at the goal line. But
that was tough. I'll take the blame for that because here's the deal. One, it was obviously it was the first game after Katrina. It was a very emotional game. Everybody's we got family. People haven't heard from their family. They're all over the place. They've moved. They're relocated. It was a tough time in general for that. That game, it was super hot. It was the first time I ever had cramps. I had to come out of the game for cramps at one point. And then I threw Eric Angels. Eric Angels was the starter of that game.
Yeah.
I threw him into a goalpost, and he had to come out after that. So then after halftime, Rick Clausen comes in, who transferred from LSU to Tennessee. And it was also there was some questionable coaching, and there was Miles. It was more. We had a 21-point lead, I believe, like you said. And he was, let's sit back. We're not going to blitz anymore. We're going to run the clock out. And I was like, the SEC, that ain't going to work, man. And Clausen went out there, and he nickeled and dimes. It was 5-yard pass, 5-yard pass, 5-yard pass. And our offense went from throwing the ball and moving around to punt, punt. And it was obviously a negative outcome for us. But, hopefully some learning went on.
You won a national championship. You guys won a ton of games, so we won't harp on that one. From Death Valley, it is 1-1 Florida taking on number 3 LSU to open SEC play. Florida won this matchup last year. Since 2010, though, Florida is 1-6 in Death Valley. The one win coming in 2016. This will be DJ Lagway's first career road SEC start. So Just kind of take me through what you've seen from this LSU team so far 2 weeks in.
Man, this LSU team is fantastic, man. I'm liking everything we see. I mean, granted, there's a big asterisk there. I'm a firm believer of you don't know who's good until October, right? Nobody's really played. I mean, LSU obviously had a nice game against Clemson. Presumably, Clemson's pretty good. So everything looks, all the signs are there for a solid team and a solid season, but it's still early. So, anything can happen. But I think this team is showing a lot of, great poise. They have a lot of, they have an offensive line that's offering some protection to the quarterback. We got a passing game. Obviously, Nussmeier, great thrower. And then the combination, which I don't hear a lot of, we have great receivers. We have a great quarterback. And then that's just reminiscent of teams past, right? So if you look at Jaden Daniels and his receiving core, Joe Burrow's receiving core, I was like a Matt Mock, the same thing.
Yeah.
So if any successful quarterback or great quarterback, it was like they had a wonderful quarterback, but also receivers. 2 and 3, 4 receivers that can go out there and get it. So that's big time. And then obviously, I'm a fan of the defensive guy. They're making it happen.
Yeah.
And just from the simple stuff of no missed tackles. They're out there doing the simple stuff right. They're putting pressure on quarterbacks. They got some talent in the defensive backfield, and they're covering guys, which allows you to pressure quarterbacks. And they're just flying all over the place, swarming the ball. It's a beautiful thing.
A little bit different from the defenses you played on. Y'all played with, 4 down linemen. They're playing with 3 down linemen, but very aggressive. And we saw that week 1 against Clemson. Not as much against Louisiana Tech, but I got to feel like I just mentioned, DJ Lagway's first road SEC start, Blake Baker is probably going to want to dial up the pressure, right?
He's got to. I think that's kind of in their identity this year. I think it's going to be in their DNA. Is going to be to pressure opposing quarterbacks. And again, now that you have the defensive backs that can do it, we have some cornerbacks that are out there locking people down man to man and doing it clean. There's been very few PI calls. I don't know if they have a PI call yet this year, honestly. Knock on wood. But they're doing it clean. They're providing great coverage for 4 seconds, and that's plenty of time for your guys up front to get to the quarterback. The Weeks brothers, obviously. I want to say Parsons. I want to say Michael Parsons.
Well, he plays like it. No, I mean they've had a couple of edge rushers, but the kid linebacker from Florida State.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they got the talent. The talent's there. I think the teamwork is there. The aggression is there. Their defense has been very stout. They've been very disciplined. So I think that I'm a guy that believes in defense winning championships. And I think that's going to prove the case.
It's very interesting. Some injuries in this one. Florida is going to be without Trayon Webb, most likely. Dallas Wilson, their freshman wide receiver. LJ McCray just had a foot injury. He's going to miss the rest of the season, sounds like, with surgery. But Caleb Banks, their big stud defensive lineman, has not played through the first 2 weeks. No injury designation for this one. So he's going to be back for Florida. That's going to be big. He will play. For LSU, 2 big ones. Questionable. Braylon Moore, their center, gets banged up last week. There was even some rumor of high ankle sprain. Will he need tightrope surgery? Sounds like you avoided the worst there. They've listed him as kind of day-to-day all week. And then the tight end trade has Green. An MCL sprain, they're calling it, and he's listed as questionable. So it sounds like LSU averted disaster there and possibly losing those guys for the season, but still to see if they're going to play in this one. But the starting center, the Louisiana Tech game looked completely different as soon as Braylon Moore left, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the game plan going to a lot of Tech is probably not overly aggressive to begin with. I think they planned on doing the basic stuff, their fundamentals, and that being enough to get them through the game. You don't want to show too much you don't have to, and also it's always a key to work on the basics, right? So I think that's kind of what they were looking at. They're coming down from a big Clemson win, away game for a top 5 opponent, breaking that first game curse and all the things. So it was a bit of a letdown game. But hopefully that'll be enough of a rebound coming to this game to really start the SEC on the right foot.
We know how good Trey Wilson is, a wide receiver. Freshman wide receiver Vernell Brown, somebody else we're going to have to watch. Mansour Delane, we'll see where LSU puts him. Their best cover corner, one of the best cover corners in the country. About time LSU got, it used to be DBU here, Cam. It's about time they got some DBs who could cover here. But moment of truth, give me your feeling. What's the vibe? Score prediction if you have it. Who wins this one?
Oh, I mean, I got the Tigers in this one. I think it's a LSU, they're a talented team. We talk about the defense being so good and being stacked on the defense in the defensive backfield, getting great pressure. Offense is really starting to click. The great pass protection. Obviously, LSU, I think their offensive their run game, O-line in the run game could use more push. I don't think they get enough drive off the ball in that regard. That's probably my biggest question mark on them. I think their pass protection is pretty solid. We'll see if the center, how that affects the dynamic there. But realistically, Florida is kind of a dangerous team coming in. I think they're going to be desperate. They just came off a really bad loss. We got a coach that's on the hot seat, and that seat's just getting hotter. So I think they definitely need to run, and I think they got a really tough schedule coming up. I think they got like a Miami, a Alabama, and they're coming forward. They're going through a gauntlet. So for the confidence aspect of it, they need to win this game. But when it's all said and done, I think the Tigers are more talented. I think the team is better. I think when it comes down to it, let's call it LSU by 14.
Wow, I like it. LSU by 14. We will see what our celebrity guest picker will pick here in a little bit, but we'll get into the rest of the SEC with Chris Marler coming up next right here on Locked On SEC. Don't go anywhere. This episode brought to you by Mazda's moving the game forward. For those who believe it's not just about playing the game, it is about redefining it. There are moments that do more than put points on the board. They move crowds, move culture, and keep moving the game forward. And this week's moment that moved the game forward, we're going to give it to Alabama quarterback Ty Simpson. He was lights out last week in the win over Louisiana Monroe, 17 for 17, an Alabama school record for consecutive completions. The Tide rolled the Warhawks 73-0. Ty Simpson, he was moving, and that Bama offense was moving. When you follow what moves you, the unexpected is only the beginning. And just like there's more to every highlight, there's more to a Mazda vehicle. Mazda, move and be moved. Eric Kane, your Vols, getting Georgia in town. Give me your prediction.
Prediction here, Gunnar Stockton is about to get rattled early in this football game. First true road starts. He's actually kind of played a lot of football, but it's been an SEC championship game. It's been in the college football playoff. It's been at home, never on the road, and obviously never in the SEC. So I think the defense gets after him. I think the Neyland effect takes over. I think that's imperative for Tennessee to pull off this upset. That line's trickling down, though, but give me Gunnar Stockton getting rattled early in this football game.
Go Dogs.
Locked On SEC, rolling along here from Baton Rouge. It is Death Valley. It is LSU, ahead of LSU versus Florida. And our buddy Chris Marler joining us right now. And Marler, how are you, man?
Hot.
It is pretty hot. It is hot here in Baton Rouge. It's hot all across SEC country. But we're talking LSU, Florida with our buddy Cam Vaughn. So figured we'd hit on some of the other big games this weekend with you. And let's start with number 6 Georgia versus number 15 Tennessee. Gunnar Stockton's first true SEC road test. What are you feeling of this one?
I think this is the best chance Tennessee has since Heupel's been there. It's a weird series because Georgia's dominated the series. They've won 8 straight. Heupel hasn't scored over 17 points in any single game on that against Kirby, but they've scored first every single year. So it's what are the adjustments are? They just can't get it going after that first drive when they're not on script. I think Georgia is the play just because it's hard for me to go against a team that's won 8 straight. That line being down to 3.5 is kind of worrisome. But like I said, I do think this is the best chance Tennessee has had since Heupel's been there, including 2022.
Joey Aguilar, I know it's, the question is he the real deal? It's also the question for Gunnar Stockton. I mean, this is a true test for both quarterbacks. Is it as simple to say the quarterback who plays the best, makes the least mistakes, is going to win the game?
Probably so. I mean, I think that's a pretty – it almost sounds cliche, but in a game like this, especially with 2 unproven quarterbacks on the stage that they're going to be on, I know Aguilar's obviously played before, but Stockton, in front of that, the very, very – hostile environment. That's gonna be fun to watch.
It's also going to be a game to see if does Nate Frazier have a breakout game? Does the run game break out? Tennessee, we know how good they run the football, so we'll find that out. Arkansas versus Ole Miss. Taylon Green leads the SEC with 10 touchdown passes. Wow. Austin Simmons, though, 1-0 in the SEC, 2 interceptions in both of his first 2 games.
Yeah, our buddy Stephen Will is not happy with me and my assessment of. I feel like a fair assessment of what he's been so far. I'll also tell you this: this is the most fun drunk game every single year. It's a perfect appetizer or warm up drink to LSU Florida. So I love what Taylon Green's been able to do, leading the SEC. And I know they haven't played anybody with a pulse yet, but I think this is going to be a really, really fun game. And I don't trust Ole Miss. I just don't trust Ole Miss. I think that this game's been closer than it should have been the past 5-10 years at several times. But the big thing is Taylon Green is a human highlight reel, right? Both quarterbacks, as long as they don't make mistakes, are very, very good and can do a lot of things that a lot of people around the country can't at that same position. I will tell you this, man. I don't think Arkansas is going to win. I think it's going to be very, very close. I just don't trust Ole Miss after what I've seen so far, even though they've won 2 games.
Story of the game could be Ole Miss's run game. Kevon Lacey kind of emerging with back-to-back 100-yard games already. And then Arkansas with Mike Washington and Braylon Russell. Yeah. What do they do in the ground game? Ole Miss, by the way, has won 5 of the last 7. But if you go back to the last 10, split 5 and 5. So we'll see who will win that one. All right, one more game here. Vanderbilt versus number 11 South Carolina. The Gamecocks have a 16-game win streak against Vandy.
16-game win streak. I feel like I've heard another 16-game win streak snapped in the past 3 years. And I don't want to talk about that one either. So I think South Carolina wins this game. I love the fact that everybody is talking about the fact that Vandy went on the road against Virginia Tech. Vandy has Diego Pavia. Diego Pavia called him out in the summer. This is the one we have circled. Whatever lineman it was, skinniest lineman in America for Vanderbilt this weekend, calling out South Carolina and how they're going to win in Williams-Brice on Saturday night. I don't see it. I love the fact that South Carolina has won 2 games by at least 14, and they've done it playing a C-plus and C-minus game. You got to come into Willie B. You got a 16-game winning streak that's just, I don't see it getting snapped anytime soon. And I tell you what, at some point, I think Vandy needs to stop trying to get all the smoke from everyone else.
Yeah, quick thought, real quick. Number 16, Texas A&M at number 8, Notre Dame.
Oh, the Catholics versus the Colt, baby. I'm pumped about this one. I got A&M to cover. I kind of like them to go on the road and win. I don't think this Notre Dame team is as good. I do question how much they could have gotten better in the bye week because it is game 2 for them, and they've already had a bye week. So,
all right, still more to come here on Locked On SEC, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We will get to our celebrity guest picker. We got plenty to go here on Locked On SEC. Back right after this. Look, if you're trying to stay on top of your routine, whether that's workouts, long days on campus, staying focused, maybe you're heading out to the tailgate, hydration is where it all starts, and that's where Drip Drop comes in. Drip Drop is doctor-developed and scientifically proven for fast hydration. It uses the perfect balance of sodium electrolytes and glucose to help your body absorb fluids quickly, delivering 3 times the electrolytes and half the sugar of a leading sports drink. You just need to go to dripdrop.com and check them out today. Make sure you use our promo code LOCKEDONCollege. That is going to be dripdrop.com, promo code LOCKEDONCollege. You'll get 20% off. It is what you're going to need for your game days and to stay hydrated. This time of year, it's still too hot on the SEC campuses. Make sure you're staying hydrated. Again, head to dripdrop.com. Use that promo code LOCKEDONCollege. Stock up now before the heat hits even harder. It's almost the weekend, guys, and it's time to look back at crown this week's MVP on Who Delivered, powered by DoorDash. Just like you can win every Saturday with DoorDash, their streaks, saving more every time you order. These players delivered when it mattered most. We're going to break it down. For Texas A&M, we're giving you Marcel Reed, the quarterback. He delivered in a big way. 3 touchdown passes last week versus Utah State. Rushed for a 4th score. When the pressure was on, Marcel Reed came through without hesitation, no delay. And if you've been watching week after week, his performance wasn't a fluke. Marcel Reed is on a streak. And just like Marcel Reed delivered for the Aggies, DoorDash delivers your Saturday. With DoorDash streaks, you save every Saturday you order. Stack it all up all season. You can save up to $250, including $100 in DoorDash credits. Order this Saturday. Keep the streak alive. Fuel your game day only with DoorDash. Terms apply. Promo period through 11/18. We're along here, Locked On SEC, ahead of LSU, Florida, from Death Valley, and it's time for our celebrity guest picker segment. And Cam Vaughn is going to be our celebrity guest picker. Remember, this is no spreads, just picking a winner, whoever you think is going to win the game. Now, look, there's a little pressure on you. Our celebrity pickers are tied right now, 5-2. We had Ben Troop on week 1, Florida tight end. He went 5-2. Last week we had Stingray, famous SEC fan. He went 5-2.
Okay.
So the pressure is on, Cam. You got to pick some winners here. So here we go. First up, we're starting with number 13, Oklahoma at Temple. I think this is an easy one. Oklahoma's looked very good. John Mateer, they beat Michigan last week. We're going to roll with Oklahoma.
I'm going to go with Oklahoma. But, there's kind of facing the same situation LSU just did, right, where they just had a big win. They come back and play a Temple. I'm not going to say they're going to come back and play a lesser opponent than their previous opponent. So it may be closer than it should be, but I think Oklahoma's got it.
Yeah, and again, danger spot on the road. Things like, who scheduled this? Why are you going on the road at Temple? But anyway, we'll see what Oklahoma does. Next up, it is Wisconsin at number 19, Alabama. Now, Wisconsin hasn't looked great. You know, this has been like 10 years ago. This has been a really dangerous spot for Alabama. Bama didn't look great week 1 against Florida State, but looked much better against Louisiana Monroe. I think I'm going to stick with the home team here and go Alabama.
Yeah, I'll go. Wisconsin's super untested. They haven't played anybody this year. Now, traditionally, Alabama is good at beating unranked opponents. So, granted, this is not the traditional Alabama team we're used to, but I would go with Alabama on this one for sure.
Kalen DeBoer, a little bit different than it was when Nick Saban was at the helm there at Alabama. All right, next up, we've got number 16, Texas A&M on the road at number 8, Notre Dame. I feel like I'm leaning Aggies here. Where are you going?
I want to be the SEC homer. I really do. But I mean, I think Notre Dame's only played one game. They had an off week last week, so they got 2 weeks of prep in. I think Marcus Freeman's a good coach. So, I mean, you give him 2 weeks and the rest of the top opponent, you got to fix some things. They lost week 1 versus Miami, Catholics versus Convicts in a close one. So they had 2 weeks to tighten all that stuff up. It's hard to see them lose. I'm going to have to go with Notre Dame on that one.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Aggies because the passing offense, Mario Craver and KC Concepcion, Marcel Reed can throw the football now. They can run the football still too, but that passing offense, I think, gets it done for A&M. How about Arkansas at number 17, Ole Miss? This rivalry, just weird things happen in this game. I mean, you've had like shootouts, you've had crazy weird things. Arkansas at Ole Miss. Taylor Green's looks so good for Arkansas. He leads the SEC with 10 touchdown passes already. True test for Bobby Petrino in that offense. As much as I want to go upset, I think I'm going to lean the home team and go Ole Miss. What are you thinking?
I'm going to go opposite. I think Arkansas has been running the ball, right? And granted, we're early on how good are the opponents have been playing and all that stuff, but I think Arkansas has been racking up all kind of run yards. Ole Miss's defense has been slacking, especially their run defense. So, I mean, that's strength versus weakness. So, I mean, I got to go Arkansas now. I think maybe a little ball control.
Yeah.
Keep the possession. It's hard for Lane to score if he had the ball.
What was your record at Fort Hemingway?
I think 2-0.
Okay.
2-0. Because one year was we took Eli out of the Heisman race, 2003.
That's right.
Right, and I think my senior year as well would beat him there. So
05.
It should be good.
Is that Ed Ogeron, maybe? I don't know. Somewhere around there. Let's get to Vanderbilt at number 11, South Carolina. Diego Pavia, they went on the road, beat Virginia Tech last week. South Carolina, they're undefeated. They beat Virginia Tech week 1, but Lenora Sellers versus Pavia in Columbia, South Carolina.
I haven't seen either of these teams play. I know they both played Virginia Tech. I think Vandy beat Virginia Tech better than South Carolina did, and they got a quarterback that's like 50 years old. He should be smart. It's like a school of smart kids. They should be able to figure something out. Let's go Vanderbilt.
Oh, I like it. Okay, I'm going to stick with the home team. I'll go with South Carolina. Go Gamecocks. Don't prove me wrong. Lenore Sellers already being talked about as number 1 pick maybe down the road. Number 6, Georgia. Number 15, Tennessee. Kirby Smart, 8-0 the last 8 games against Tennessee. But it's in Knoxville. It's at home. Josh Heupel, good coach. Where are we leaning?
This was tough, man. I was really thinking about this. I put a lot of energy in this one. I think, Tennessee, again, a solid running game like I was talking about earlier. They both got younger quarterbacks. Kind of Tennessee's quarterbacks kind of untested in the SEC, right? So, I mean, again, another new quarterback at Georgia. I think he's throwing just a couple touchdowns. I think 2 touchdowns this year. But I think he's young. He hadn't been in this conference. I never played in Neyland. It looks big. It looks loud. Think it might affect them. We'll go Tennessee.
Yeah, I'm going to go Gunner Stockton. I picked Georgia and LSU to go to Atlanta, so I got to stick with Georgia on that one. And then lastly, Florida at LSU. I know you already kind of made your pick earlier, but let's say it again. You've got LSU by what, 2 touchdowns?
Let's give them 2 touchdowns, man. Maybe 3. I think LSU's got it. I mean, when it comes down to LSU's got to get a little better in the run game. I think Florida comes in as a dangerous opponent just because they're in a desperation mode. They just had a really bad loss last week, and as far as the optics go, they had a coach that's on a hot seat that's now in flames. They really need something, and Florida's got a gauntlet coming up, so they need it for the confidence. So I think Florida really needs this win. But I think the talent of the Tigers, the way the defense is playing, I think Nussmeier and all his receiving weapons is out there. I think it's going to be too much for him, so I got LSU for sure.
I'm going LSU too, but I think Florida plays them tough, so we'll see what happens. Hey, thanks to Cam Vaughn for coming out. We'll see if he can go 5-2 or better in our celebrity guest picks. Thank you guys for watching Locked On SEC. And hey, a reminder to check out college football fans, Locked On and Fire TV present College Football Kickoff, coming to you guys every Thursday night on Fire TV. Catch College Football Kickoff every Thursday. I'm Chris Gordy for Cam Vaughn. For Chris Marler, Locked On SEC. We'll talk to you guys on Monday, recapping all the action. Everybody, see you then. Give me a prediction on Arkansas.
Well, I think Ole Miss is even more overrated than the Grove itself. So it's going to be a pretty interesting matchup. And I think Taylor Green is going to start his Heisman campaign against the Ole Miss Rebels this Saturday.
Wow. Okay. I like it. Not crazy to think. Chris Marler, Locked On Gamecocks.
Not crazy to think.
No.
Hey, Zach, shut up and let's move on instead of trying to.
I like it. To say not crazy to think?
We'll get in a second.
If they go on a run, Taylor Green's talented. Look, I'm a Taylor Green fan.
I'm picking y'all this weekend, John. I'm not hating. But to say not crazy to think?
And I think Sam Pittman as nice of a guy and everyone loves him, you could tell in the press conference this week, he's taking this one a little personally, maybe not so much about last year and the way things went, but about the players that left him, like Patrick Kudus, like Luke Has, like Jalen Braxton, that are all playing for Ole Miss this year. And so, I mean, listen, if you told me this game was going to end in a final score of 58-56 in regulation, I wouldn't be surprised. But if you also told me it was going to end 17-13, wouldn't be surprised. You never know what's going to happen in this game. But what I do know is that Arkansas's offense is going really well right now. I know they haven't played high-level competition, but all things considered of what previous years have gone for Sam Pittman in these non-conference games against lesser opponents, you got to feel at least a little bit good about the Razorbacks. And to me, if they win this game, it really gets everybody on board to maybe think this is a good season. But if they lose this game, then I think people are just going to be, hey, you are who we thought you were.
It is a road game, Vaught-Hemingway Stadium. Stephen, what's the vibe on the Ole Miss side?
Good, actually. If you look at the fact that they've put themselves in so much trouble to start games this year, they've given up more points per game than first downs per game at this point. Pete Golding's actually putting a good plan together on the Ole Miss defense, and they're outscoring the other team by 3 touchdowns in the second, third, and fourth quarter of the game. The first quarter is a problem. They've got to get that fixed, and a lot of that comes from the interceptions, short fields, and stuff like that. If that happens against Arkansas, Arkansas is winning the game. There's not even any question about that. If Ole Miss can clean that up and kind of get into the second quarter and start rolling, I think Ole Miss has a little bit better football team than Arkansas does, and they've got some weapons. They can actually run the ball this year. They ran the ball they threw the ball one time in the fourth quarter against Kentucky, and that game was 30-13 at the end of the game, and that includes the garbage field goal at the end that Kentucky kicked. So it was actually 30-10. So other than the first quarter, they kind of turned it up a little bit. So I think that if Ole Miss can clean up that first quarter, they're going to win the game. I genuinely think that. But this is, as John said, this is the drunk uncle of the SEC schedule every single year.